Back to that Chinese spy balloon, the fallout continues. The White House yesterday trying to deflect blame, claiming that the same thing happened when Donald Trump was president, despite Trump himself. Two former directors of national intelligence, two former defense secretaries, and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo all denying those allegations yesterday.
Joining us now for more is retired Air Force Brigadier General and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt. Good morning, General. So take a listen to what Karine Jean-Pierre had to say in the briefing room yesterday.
Does the balloon weaken U.S.-Chinese relations?
No. We've made it clear to China what we're going to do. They understand our position. We're not going to back off. We did the right thing. And there's not a question of weakening or strengthening. It's just reality.
All right. Well, that was President Biden. But basically, General Holt, Karine Jean-Pierre, pointing the blame, saying, oh, this happened under the Trump administration. But as Rob said, everyone from the former administration that has spoken out says, no, we didn't know about this. So I guess the concern is, if this did happen, did somebody know about it? Why didn't we know about it? And again, we had this balloon fly across the country, major threat, but they're basically pointing the blame and saying this happened under Trump administration.
Let me say something that you never thought I'd ever say on this station. Thank goodness for Karine Jean-Pierre. She's highlighted a massive, massive problem, almost nearly as big as just the Chinese throwing a balloon over our skies. And that is, she's actually saying that balloons had traveled over our skies on the last administration, and we already have the administration saying it never happened. So if she's correct, what we have to then ask ourselves is, did we have civilian control of the military during the Trump years? And are we going to investigate whatever military officials decided it was not appropriate to tell the SecDef and up of the civilian leadership of the military? So if what she's saying is true, and that's quite an allegation on her part, then we've got to go down that hole immediately.
That is a very serious allegation. In the regime media there in the briefing room, one person mentioned that, Wei Zhang, talked about it like it was Russia all over again, Russiagate. They just said, oh, no, this happened during Trump. Somebody said it, then the rest of the media parroted it out, and everyone was like, whoa, wait a second. Every legitimate person that would know about this, that was in office when Trump was in office and serving our country, has denied the allegation. Why not come forward and be like, yeah, this was happening when Donald Trump was in office?
They've got to get out in front of this.
Yeah, they absolutely. So, General, do you think Joe Biden needs to confront this tonight during the State of the Union? Because the Chinese, first of all, they're still calling this a civilian airship, and the Chinese are also saying this never should have been shot down. They're saying that they reserve the right to respond if they feel that's necessary. So basically, they send a spy balloon over the entire continental U.S. We shoot it down, and now they're mad at us, and Joe Biden doesn't say anything tonight.
That's ridiculous. Look, if the Chinese said it was a flying llama, it doesn't matter. It invaded our country, right, and it didn't have authorization to do so. And it should have been shot down before the Aleutian Islands. And that's just the way it is. We don't know what was on that aircraft. We better had find out. And the administration can say what they would like to say, but it's actually the Congress and the oversight mechanisms that have to take whatever lipstick is put on the pig tonight and say, well, that's nice. That's a pretty narrative. But actually, this is a serious breach of our national security, and it's not going to end here.
General, Anthony Blinken was supposed to go to China. Obviously, that trip was canceled. Do you think this has anything to do with his trip, the timing of the balloon and his trip?
It's possible. The Chinese have a proclivity for this. They like to humiliate. They like to have their opponent lose face as they're about to sit down and talk with them. If you hearken back to when Secretary Gates, Bob Gates of SecDef, went to China, that's when they unveiled at the exact same time of his arrival their new jet fighter. They have a proclivity for this. But the problem is, this is our sovereignty. This is our air sovereignty. So it is appropriate not to be going to China with any of our senior officials. But the Chinese, we shouldn't be worried about the Chinese reaction. They should be worried about ours. There are several steps we should take now to show our strength and resolve and our intolerance for this type of behavior.
Yeah, but this is clearly not a peace through strength administration. Joe Biden, if anything, to me, he telegraphed weakness. Even in their description of the shoot down on Saturday, they said, well, after the balloon moved beyond 12 miles of the South Carolina coast, it would be in international waters and we couldn't shoot it down. If I'm sitting there in the Oval Office, I say, you know what, I'm shooting that thing down whenever I want. whenever I want.
Right.
13 miles
Right.
beyond the coast, I'm
Too
still
late.
shooting it
You
down.
blew it. You already
Yeah.
came over America. None of those rules apply anymore.
Yeah, agreed.
And why not a few machine gun rounds into the balloon so we could have it back intact and really pick it apart and find out what was on board?
Yeah, last time I checked, too, technology doesn't do so well in salt water, but that
Really
seems to
doesn't.
be the better option. General,
As a sailor, I can tell you that's true.
yes, we will leave it there. Great having you back on, General Blaine Holt. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you.